With everything that's been going on with Binance as of late and centralized exchanges in general, people are starting to learn how to trade on dexes. So that's why the trading volume on decentralized exchanges has been rising ever since FTX collapsed. But the competition in that niche is very high. It's no longer sufficient to just create a normal DEX and expect people to bring in their liquidity and trade on it, all right? So you have to bring a unique value proposition. You have to bring something new because the established players have taken a lot of market share. If you want to have any chance of taking any of that market share, you really have to solidify yourself with something completely new. Swych is a DEX that unfortunately came into the market without that mindset. Now, even though that name might not be familiar, you might remember a protocol, a rebase protocol. I think it was either the OG or one of the OGs, when there was a fixed APY and then it was rebasing at 2% a day or something. And that protocol was called the Titano. So Titano Finance was, back in the day, I'm talking during the bull run, I think a major player in that field. And because the price collapsed and the protocol collapsed, even though the team has made a lot of money in the process, they decided to migrate their business value proposition and create a decentralized exchange. Hence the creation of Swych. Now, ever since this happened, all right, the native asset has been plummeting. Now, if we go to the chart right here on Dex Screener, I'm gonna zoom out a bit. Let's go on the 6-month chart, which tells us the full picture. You can clearly see that the price right now is even lower than the prices that it started at. And I'm talking more than almost 60% lower than the initial price that this token has been listed on. All right. Now, like I said, the team has a lot of money. They don't have a shortage of funds, and I don't think they even did a pre-sale. They just launched, and so far, we're what now? Towards the middle of June, and they launched towards the end of March, almost. Nothing really happened. So Titano users, to make them whole, they basically gave them, or they will be giving them throughout the protocol's life, some Swych tokens which they can use to sell and make up some of the loss that they incurred in Titano. All right, but other than that, I just want to quickly touch base on why right now this DEX is almost non-existent. So first of all, if you want to understand the power of the DEX and how much value it holds, other than going into the details of what it does, you can simply go on DeFi Llama and check how much volume it's producing. Forget the native asset for a second, all right? Because I always say that the native asset unfortunately doesn't tell us the full picture. Yes, the price has plummeted because Titano users are selling every now and then, but let's look at on-chain data in regards to its native DEX, which is the product that they want to work on. So right now I'm on the Binance Smart Chain. I need to scroll down. So number 25, Titano Swych, is doing sub 30k in daily volume, and its daily TVL to volume ratio is about 0.02, which is quite low. And just to be clear, the TVL here doesn't tell us the full picture because that's mostly Swych tokens that are staked right now. So if I go on the main website, I go on the DApp, the only thing you can do other than trade, of course, you can stake your tokens to earn a fixed APY of 500%, which is the first, perhaps, issue here, is that they're fixing their APY other than leaving it as a dynamic figure. You know very well that APYs in general / APRs, they really depend on supply and demand and the performance of the token. Those are the two main components behind the APY, again, or APY or APR of staking pools or even LP pools. So fixing this is a bit controversial. So there's a lot of value produced here that is used to be sold on the native DEX, because I think that's the only place that you can purchase or sell it on. So that tells us two things. If you can only do that on the platform, meaning most of the trading volume derives from people selling or buying Swych, and I don't think that that's much actually. So overall, the daily volume is quite low. Actually, okay, correction, not most, but a portion of it is due to this. And I guess, of course, the team most probably is doing their trades on their native DEX, which makes sense. Going into the white paper, there's something that you need to understand. If you scroll into the white paper, if you look at it, from top to bottom, there's nothing new in that DEX. The competition is really harsh, and if you don't provide any unique feature, unfortunately, you're gonna get left behind. And you can clearly see based on DeFi Llama's ranks, there are so many DEXs. If I filter by DEXs, there are so many on the Binance Smart Chain. And just recently, there are a couple that launched that overtook Swych by far. There's no need to spend so much time developing something that is not cutting edge at this point. Because from a trading fees perspective, they're a bit higher than the competition. They do 0.25% and they give some of it to a treasury. So again, future LP providers, because you cannot be an LP provider now, won't be able to benefit as much versus others, because 0.08% of this goes to a treasury, which is another place that is controlled by the team that is most probably giving them money in terms of salaries. And I think someone mentioned on Telegram the other day that they have been taken, I don't know, millions in salaries for God knows what. So fixed APYs, not competitive trading fees, and that's it. There's nothing new here. Honestly, nothing new. All of these buzzwords, Launchpad, Loto, Super Loto, like incubators. So all of these have been saturated over time. So there is nothing new. And you can clearly understand why people don't really care to trade on Swych, nor buying the asset. Why would you buy the asset? And judging by its, poor performance, why would you do so? Like, best case scenario is you putting LPs on Swych and taking advantage and selling. But even then, that wouldn't really matter, because if you want to earn a real yield with such volume, that's close to peanuts. And the only way they can make this competitive is that they would, put the real yield option aside, unless somehow they get a bunch of increased volume and give you Swych tokens, and that means more sell pressure to push the price down. And if you only want to assess the performance of this, you also need to understand what the competition is doing and why the competition is doing so much better. Why? Because the competition is giving you something new, and I'm gonna just right now showcase a few examples just to make you understand why they're doing millions in volume versus a mere 30k here. So PancakeSwap is not a DEX that we need to talk a lot on. That's the OG on the Binance Smart Chain. It's solidified. It has a very beautiful user interface, so people are used to PancakeSwap. Most of the shit coins, the new tokens, are deployed there. So, and plus they are the first movers in terms of V3 liquidity. So they are number one, and I don't think they're going to be dethroned anytime soon. So the likes of Level Finance, which is most probably the first perpetual DEX on the Binance Smart Chain, plus they have an index LP, which comprises of blue chip assets, and because of this, because they have a lot of they have a lot of volume, they have a lot of activity. When people put in their LP in it, the returns have been so far pretty attractive. All right, Athena, for example, is the first V33 following curves model protocol. So they also implemented V3, but the algebra version, meaning the automated version. So again, they have something new on the Binance Smart Chain versus the others. And BuySwap is the second biggest DEX, and also they have all of these things that Swych has implemented already, and they have a better trading fee figure. So they take 0.2% versus 0.25%. So again, there's nothing competitive here. There's no way, or I'm sure I'm not gonna say no way, but there's no actual logic as to why the volume would migrate somehow by, I don't know, by any miracle to Swych. So it's very complicated. I'm not saying that the team is doing a shit job. I'm not saying that this is not a good trading platform. All I'm saying is that there's no real point for it to attract volume just because it has nothing new to offer versus the competition that people are using. I think I'm gonna end this here. I think I just wanted to make a point. It's not about this DEX in particular. This is an example that I came across, and I just wanted to, you know, shine the light on in this damn age of crypto, tech, evolution, whatever you want to call it. If you want to stand out from the competition, you need to produce something new. And that's what others are doing. First, not only they're doing that, they're also producing results faster than what these guys are doing. And with that, I hope you got some value here. I hope you learned something new. Thank you again if you stuck around till the end. See you in the next one. Have a good one.